Hi, I'm Stephen Boyle. Dense fog advisory for portions of our region, southern Connecticut, southern Rhode Island, southeastern Mass, and also the Cape and the Islands, because of the fact that there could be some dense fog tonight from midnight through mid-morning tomorrow morning, a quarter of a mile or less at times, in through those regions. So be very careful. Hazardous weather outlook, though, for our region. With that being said, there is a potential for some dense fog potentially tomorrow morning and again tomorrow night in through Thursday. There will also be a risk of some fire hazards as well. Keep that in mind. The reason why we have the potential for high fire hazards is because of the dry weather we're seeing. Plus, on top of it, we're seeing some low humidities through that period, Thursday and Friday, and also the winds will start to kick up a little bit as well. So keep that in mind. So be very vigilant when it comes in terms of that. You can see fairly warm conditions today. We'll say mid to upper 70s with some regions hitting close to 80 degrees. Other than that, you can see nothing much going on. You can see, we'll say mid to upper 40s to around north and west, and you can see some 50s coming in around here as well. You can see those 50s, mid 50s in Boston, mid 50s in Burlington, mid 50s in Syracuse. But other than that, nothing much is going on. No precipitation, and you can see the most intense heat will really be coming through southern Maine, portions of northern Mass, northeastern Mass, and really going right on up and through as far north as Bangor, Maine. The reason why is because this southwesterly flow from the high will be the most intense when it reaches this region, and it's just going to be this region that gets the most intense heat. And you can see some other regions in here, some more intense heat in through here, some additional here, and then additionally here. But it's going to be this region that will be the most noticeable through the period. So that's Wednesday. Wednesday night, you can see temperatures drop back in through many regions, the low to mid 50s. You can see even some upper 50s through Burlington, Boston, Syracuse. Working your way southward, even Washington, D.C. will only be 54 degrees. Well, 54, which is cooler than some of us here in New England. This is the intense stuff. We're talking about mid-80s. Mid-80s, okay? Those mid-80s will be really going through southern New Hampshire, going through portions of southern Maine, talking away from the coast, and then going really up into Bangor. When you're right on the coast, you'll be practically low, we'll say low to mid-80s, but when you're inland, you're talking mid to upper 80s with maybe close to 90 degrees. But again, same regions that will be seeing the very warm weather for much of the week, we'll be seeing it yet again on Thursday. So, well, really for today, tomorrow, for today and tomorrow will be also on Thursday, and that will be the most intense day of the heat. Also, another really an additional region forming into the Albany region, and maybe an additional region in our area, and then some additional regions in here, and even this region, major region, could be going as far south as Boston. So it's going to be pretty warm into some regions. Then as we work our way Thursday night, temperatures start dropping back. You can see really that cool air kind of coming back into play here. Northern Maine dropping back into the 30s and then 40s as you work your way south, and then around here, lower 50s, mid 50s towards Boston and eastern Mass. You can see things start being pushed to the south. You can see those upper 70s to around 80 degrees in Washington around here. Or once you start getting into Connecticut and New York, you can see lower 70s. And then once you work your way north of the Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts border, you really start working your way into the mid to upper 60s, and then low upper 50s to around 60 degrees and low 60s from up and through central New England, and then once you work your way to northern New England, 40s. Temperatures continue to drop. You can see, look at those temperatures Friday night. The teens going as far south as central New Hampshire. You can see the teens in through northern Maine. Intense cold for Thursday night, and then for Friday night, and you can see temperatures continue to fall back as time continues to work its way forward, dropping back to closer to normal. You can see those upper 60s will be going as far south as Washington and people may be taking their coats back out and through some regions as well. So Monday, this is Monday, you can see highs in through the 40s and 50s. So that's what's going on. Nothing much. However, I do want to point out something. We're going to look at the models here right now, and then also a couple pitches. And what I'm going to do is this whole entire period in here, this whole period is just generally warm. We all know about that warm, but you can start seeing that cooler air starting to impend for the weekend, and then which will bring us back to around average. And then you can see that there could be a little bit of area of low pressure, which may cause some rain. And then as time continues to work its way forward, you can see a little bit of a deepening into the trough, which may give us, we'll see what happens in through that time period. But then you can see here comes another intense shot of cooler air, and this time you can see how it just troughs. And look at that trough. That cool air goes as far south as South Carolina. Now, if it goes whether it goes exactly the way this is thinking or whether it goes some other way, I'm not sure yet. Okay, because today's models were a little at least on this particular website. I know there's many other websites to check out models, but I use this one because it's just so easy to use. Today things were a little bit screwed up with the with being posted. This morning I looked on the website and there was nothing available. And then of course I came this afternoon. Things were just all over the place. Things were being updated and things were not. So I'm generally going by yesterday's models still because it's because nothing is really being able, at least on this particular website, I wasn't able to see anything. But you can see how cool it is according to late yesterday evening's model, and you can see that trough looks to be as if it's going to be exiting out. But then look at this, a very intense shot of cool air for the beginning of April. So whether this exactly goes the way that it's looking, I'm not sure. I really have to see a newer model to be able to be that certain about it. But for right now, a cool trend does look to be in our forecast, and also a little bit of snow. With that being said, these are the predictions for, actually these are my predictions. You can see I am predicting things to be practically certain for snow in northern New England, fairly certain into central and northern New England, and in our region I'm almost certain that we'll be getting some snow. The reason for this being is that temperatures will be really cool. We're going to start seeing a trough getting in here, and it's just going to be the pattern. I mean, things will cool down. You can see by this week it'll be practically neutral, and then things really cool down for the end of next week. The end of next week will be really when things could get cranking around here and when people get very surprised. But you can see my forecast confidence still only 55% because I am uncertain, because things could change. And then these are the predicted conditions from the Climate Prediction Center, which are the main guys. They're the ones who who create forecasts for months and seasons ahead, and you can see that they are predicting cooler weather for April, so that does indicate to me that there is a potential for some snows. Also, it's funny, look at the orange just off our coastline right in here. That is another major indicator, because let's say if a storm does come up the coast, what does the warmer water do? It supplies moisture for the storm. And when it's cooler inland, you have the warm and then the cool, that enhances the moisture. And both of those things together create, more precipitation. So that's essentially what's going on. But other than that, nothing much. We could be talking about a pop-up thunderstorm Thursday night. But other than that, until the weekend when we do see some cooler weather, maybe some rain coming in here, nothing much will be really happening. I'm just more tracking the intense cold and also the potential snows. The warm weather is practically impending, so now we can kind of look at what's going to go on for the future. And you can see practically much of the country being very, very warm this April. The exception being Alaska and into portions of extreme northwestern portions of the country and way northern Canada. And that's a big difference of what's happening right now for these people into this region, because right now they're experiencing well below average conditions and intense snows. So that's what's going on. Things will be warming up into the west, cooling down into our region. So we'll have to see how things pan out throughout time. But stay tuned. I will be giving you updates. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their Tuesday. And I will be back tomorrow with another update. Thank you for listening and have a great afternoon.